December 13th special board meeting of the Town of Webster Board will come to order. Let's say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dolly, can you do roll call, please?
Supervisor Flaherty.
Here.
Councilman Abbott.
Here.
Councilman Dean.
Here.
Councilman Cahill.
Here.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Present.
Okay, and for the people in the crowd, and I thank you, everybody who is here in the crowd that is wearing a mask, and for people watching at home, either on TV or live streaming, you'll notice that everybody on the board is wearing a mask. I'm sure everybody knows that Governor Hochul announced that public facilities, as of Monday, December 13th, needed mandatory masking of employees and visitors, and so that's why you see us the way we are. We are a compliant group, are we not? All right. The other thing I'd like to say is that the agenda that was put out, I notice here it says, please note this meeting will not be televised. Actually, that is inaccurate. It's been an evolving situation. I think it is being televised and or at least live streamed. And obviously that means it'll also be in tape for posterity for people to look at later. I will say this is a procedural meeting. In fact, I think, interestingly enough, the last special town board meeting that was called that I can see was in around Thanksgiving of 2019, previous to me being supervisor. And ironically, it was because of some time deadlines that the state had on filing the application paperwork for the READY grants. And so the board was called in a short notice to make sure that I wasn't on the board at the time, but that I's were dotted and T's were crossed to make sure that the READY grants, of which it's a good thing you did specially meet, because we did obtain close to $3 million in those grants for Sandbar Park. It's not a public hearing. Because it's a special called board meeting, there is no 5-minute time frame to get up and talk at the podium. With that being said, Charlie, town attorney, how would you like to proceed? I know that.
Well, let me just, obviously the supervisor can do as he needs, but what I would like to do is let me just formulate a resolution, because this is specific to commencing litigation. The resolution is based upon objections having been filed with the town clerk under section 91 of the New York State Town Law relative to petitions having been submitted for permissive referenda on 2 resolutions of the town board for bonding, both of which took place on and at the town board meeting of November 4th, 2021. The petitions were filed with the town clerk on Monday, December 6th, a week ago today. They were filed 32 days after the date of the town board meeting, the reason being that because the 30th day would have fallen on a Saturday, by operation of General Construction Law 25-A of New York State, the filers were able to file 2 days late, which is to the business day following, and that was Monday the 6th. Consequently, they were filed, they were received by the town clerk, and subsequent to that time, they were reviewed and objections were made based upon the validity of signatures and to determine whether or not the petitions were defective and permissible to basically require referenda on either or both of those two bonding resolutions. By the way, specific bonding resolutions, there was one for $4 million and one for $5 million, both of which, $5.5 million, both of which concern the Sandbar Park improvements. In any event, the objections have been made and filed with the town clerk today, which is to be done normally within 5 days after receipt of the petition, but again, because of the operation of General Construction Law 25-A, the next business day after the 5th day, which would have been on Saturday, is today, and they have been filed. Also, the reason the special meeting is being called is because in order to properly object to any such petition, a follow-up petition must be filed with the Supreme Court of the State of New York, also today. And in order for that to happen, the town board has to enact a resolution to require affirmative litigation to proceed. So it's a two-part process in making the objection. The objection is one, the second is filing a petition with the Supreme Court. And that's basically what the nature of the resolution is. So the objections having been filed under Election Law 91, the town board is meeting today to resolve to authorize a supervisor to commence a proceeding under New York State Town Law Section 91 to declare the petitions, each of them and both of them as invalid, and to basically seek a court to rule upon those objections.
Thank you, Charlie. And before we get on with the resolutions, I don't I don't know if it's two resolutions because of seeker, if you'll just include seeker. But
I would ask that,
Yeah.
yes, I would also ask that the that the
Sorry.
that the town board note that this is a type 2 action under seeker, does not impact the environment in any way.
I'm sorry, what was that, Bill?
It's administerial.
Yes.
Correct.
So, first of all, and I'm going to ask Deputy Supervisor Cataldi when it's time to read or make a motion for this resolution, because it's authorizing the supervisor, so I don't want to be doing that. But I'm really happy that this is being live televised and live streamed, and I'm very happy that people have come to the meeting today because I want to make sure that I read off the exact objection
It's going to be the same procedure.
that was filed with town clerk today, because I would imagine, Charlie, it is pretty much going to be exactly what's filed with the Supreme Court.
Correct.
All right? Because you know what? Transparency is key. I don't need people foiling this. They can, but they're going to hear it word for word. But I want to just make sure everybody understands that, you know, I'm the relatively newbie on the, I am the newbie on the board. Bill, you've been on the board 14 years now?
16.
16. The last time a petition was brought to force a permissive referendum while you were a board member.
Hasn't been.
Right. So when this occurred last Monday, we started to look at, well, what's the process here? It's not intuitive. It's not something that we do every single day. The Board of Elections was consulted. The Board of Elections is a very interesting organization because they are nonpartisan. I guess they do have a Republican and Democrat side, but we sought guidance from both of them. And they said, well, you know, you need to proceed on with, we'll help you with here's registered voters and this and that, and, you know, do a due diligence to see if, you know, if the petitions that were submitted to Dolly last Monday at 4 p.m. Are valid, because certainly on the surface, I mean, I know when I was in school, the thicker the package was, I always thought I got an A+ if I gave the teacher a 20-pager versus a 5-pager. But, you know, now we had to go through and do somewhat of a forensic audit on some of these to see if there was any issues. So based on that, as things were coming back through the week, it led to essentially us calling this special meeting on Saturday when enough evidence was found, if you want to call it, through this due diligence process that appears to make these petitions not valid for the forcing of a town-wide referendum vote. And this was the objection that I filed. Oh, you got it written here. I don't have to go out the computer. To the Webster Town Clerk, Dorothy McGuire, I hereby formally file objections on the following petitions for permissive referenda filed in the Webster Town Clerk office at approximately 4 p.m. on Monday, December 6th, 2021. Petition regarding the $4 million ready flood prevention bonding done by the Webster Town Board on Thursday, November 4th, 2021. Said petition had 139 pages with 1,162 line item names and addresses. Petition 2 regarding the $5.5 million Sandbar Park improvement bonding done by the Webster Town Board on Thursday, November 4th, 2021. Said petition had 132 pages with 1,066 line item names and addresses. Based on information obtained from the Monroe County Board of Elections and pursuant to New York State election law, valid petition to nullify previous town board bonding resolutions and force a townwide referendum/vote must be filed within 30 days of the town board bonding resolutions and have 1,040 valid Webster registered voter signatures. The number of 1,040 signatures is determined by the vote in the last gubernatorial election. Because the 30th day landed on a weekend, Monday, December 6th, 2021 was the deadline for petitions to be filed. The general objection to each petition herein above is that each petition is defective due to the number of invalid signatures. More specifically, the objections are based on, but not limited to, the following. Number 1. Approximately 100 line item names and addresses of people not registered voters in the town of Webster, i.e. they are non-electors. Number 2, approximately 100 line item names and addresses that are duplicates within the pages submitted, i.e. they signed on one page and then they also signed on another. Number 3, approximately 100 line item, Number 3, approximately 50 illegible names and or addresses on the pages submitted. Number 4, one witness page where the witness is not a registered voter in the town of Webster. Attestation that the witness signed was that he or she was an elector of the town of Webster. Number 5, approximately 70 line items where a printed name is present but no signature is provided. And number 6, other defects may exist and be discovered upon further investigation and will be provided to the court of competent jurisdiction at the time of hearing. I swear that to the best of my knowledge, the above is true and factual. Respectively submitted this 13th day of December 2021 by Webster Town Supervisor Thomas J. Flaherty. Like I said, Charlie, I would assume that is what would be filed with the Supreme Court?
There will be a petition filed by you with probably with that attached to it along with the petition itself, yes.
Okay. If you want to go on with the resolution.
So I would move to authorize the supervisor to commence a proceeding under New York State Town Law, Section 91, to declare invalid petitions designed and submitted to require referenda upon resolutions of the town board to bond respectively $4 million and $5.5 million for drainage and flood protection improvements and parkland improvements, both to benefit Sandbar Park, and both of which were passed at the November 4th, 2021 Town Board meeting. Because this is an administerial action, it is deemed to be type 2 under seeker.
Second.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye. And that concludes this board meeting. Unless any town board members have any questions or comments?
I do not.
No.
All right. This meeting is officially concluded.